Welcome to the Zoning Subcommittee meeting of the Revere City Council for March 4th, 2024. Please rise and salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Madam Clerk.
Roll call of the members. Councilor Guarino Sawaya.
Here.
Here, Councilor Kelly.
Here.
Here, Councilor Novoselsky. Here, Councilor Silvestri.
Here.
Here, Chairman Zambuto.
Here.
Here, and ex officio President Cogliandro is also present. One item on tonight's agenda, Council Order 24-082, on the application of Jules Said, 55 Berkshire Street, Swampscott, requesting a special permit from the Revere City Council to reconstruct and expand an existing non-conforming structure by raising the existing structure and constructing a 5-story boutique hotel containing approximately 104 rooms and 32 parking spaces at 185 Squire Road.
Mr. Makakis, name and address for the record, please.
Lou McCarkis, 152 Lynn Way in the great city of Lynn. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
So I suppose you have a presentation you want to make before the committee here tonight?
We do, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, so
Fantastic.
have
Thank
at
you.
it.
My name is Lou McCarkis. I'm the president and CEO of Linway Associates, a real estate consulting, government relations, and permitting firm located at Seaport Landing. We represent the buyer and the seller in this case, and I was asked to quarterback this team. We have members of the team here in case there are any technical questions. If I can't answer, I'm sure they can. And I'd just like to let everybody know that this presentation is the culmination of about 6 months of meetings with city officials via a series of personal meetings, Zoom meetings, and group meetings with staff from the previous and the current administration. During the course of those meetings, we received feedback and input from the Office of Economic Development, the Chief Building Inspector, the Code Enforcer, and the City Planner. Then we sat with the Site Plan Review, where we received valuable input from the city's Chief Engineer, the folks at DPW, Fire Prevention, and the Police Department regarding traffic management. We want you to know that this presentation and this selection of this site and this proposal has been well vetted and scrutinized, and we appreciate the valuable input that we received and the constructive criticism from everyone. Let's take a look at the location, 185 Squire Road. Currently a 2-story mixed-use, outdated and underutilized building built around 1965, consisting of several small empty offices now. Just the owner and his bookkeeper are there in the building, so nobody consequently will get displaced. A couple of the pictures of the back of the building. The site sits on 15,000 square feet plus, which is the minimum zoning requirement to do what we like. This particular zoning is in the Highway Business District, which allows for hotel use by right. In other words, the district allows for a hotel as a permitted use. If you review the existing zoning ordinance, there are other allowable uses in the HB district that are allowed by right. For instance, a gas station, a funeral home, a parking lot, a parking structure, or even a Class 1 automotive sales as permitted uses. What we propose is consistent with the character of the corridor in the area. As you'll see, it's a combination of restaurants, gas stations, there's a hotel down the road, Market Basket, many of you are familiar with Squire Road. What we propose is consistent with the character and we think beneficial to the community as a whole. Let's take a look at the hotel particulars. This is a 5-story, or as we say in the business, a 4/1 with parking at grade. There are 26 rooms per floor, equaling 104 rooms, and we propose a community meeting room, a coffee shop, and a possible lounge. When folks come off of Squire Road, what we wanted to do is we sited it on Leechmere. So the idea is to get the traffic off of Squire Road. You take a right onto Leechmere, which really is a one-way. We might need some help on enforcing that. Leechmere goes down from Squire down to Ward. If you're down at Ward Street, you'll see the do not enter, but a lot of the folks tend to cheat and they come up. So we'd like some help on that because we think the best way to have public safety is to have the one-way. So what we're proposing is to take the traffic off of Squire, take a right down to Leechmere, where they're going to be pulling into a valet captain, valet service. They'll come in this way, and then when they come out, we want them to proceed down Leechmere, which will keep as much vehicle traffic as possible off of Squire Road. Let's take a look at, we also committed, by the way, most importantly, we've committed to 2 shuttles, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. So if those folks from the hotel want to go to the T or the beach or wherever, we're going to take them there. So that's a commitment that we're going to hold the developer to. 2 shuttles, 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. With respect to the benefits to the city and the taxpayers of the great city of Revere, we feel that hotels, generally speaking, provide the highest income to the city with the least drain on city services versus other uses. Now, the dollars that come into the municipality might be in the way of the hotel room tax. If we have the restaurant, the meals tax. If there's a lounge, the liquor tax. And of course, the commercial tax rate is much higher versus the residential use. So the other benefits we feel are to the local businesses. So people that are coming to Revere or staying here might be 1, 2, 3 nights. We're hoping that they'll spend money on the adjoining people on the corridor, whether it's the restaurants, the gas stations, shopping, or possibly visiting America's oldest first public beach. So in summary, I just want to thank the outstanding staff that I've worked with, both in this administration and the previous administration, and a dear friend who guided us, and may he rest in peace, Bob O'Brien, was the first one that said, we need hotels, they're the best use, this location is perfect for that, and he was one of the driving forces that really set the vision, along with Dave Barsky, the architect. So I want to thank everyone for their input. I learned a lot from the councilors here, and I appreciate your honesty, your constructive criticism, and your hospitality throughout the process. I'd especially like to thank the councilor from Ward 6, Chris Giannino, who was very hospitable with his time. He was alerting us on things that were important to him, as well as the city as a whole, and I want to thank him personally. And thank you for letting us share our vision of what we think is the highest and best use for 185 Squire Road. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Makakis. So I guess we'll now open it up to councilors for questions. I don't see a lot of
Councilor
questions.
Silvestri?
Councilor,
No question. I just want to say I fully support it. It's a great project, Lou. I think we need a few more on Squire Road. It's, like you said, it's the best use, and I appreciate your coming up tonight.
Thank you, Councilor Silvestri.
Councilor Novoselsky.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I've worked with these gentlemen on several other projects, including our veterans home down in Shirley Ave, and they just did a wonderful job. Whatever suggestions I made, they took. It was reasonable, and they built the building to my, to my liking. I want to say to my specs because they write the specs, but to my liking. And I worked with them for almost 3 years to get that done, and I know they do a good job. Lou's terrific. He's a hustler, and he knows the right people to reach out to and make things work. So I'm in full support of this. I think it's a great thing for Squire Road, and I'd like to see a couple more on Squire Road. You know, I think there's space for them, and I hope other things work out. And I'm sure you'll work out the issue on Leechmere.
Thank you, Counselor.
Thank you. Counselor Kelly.
Thank you. So I just want to start off for a minute, just for edification purposes, because we keep hearing that this can be built by right. And I think there's some confusion regarding that, because although it is an HB district that allows for hotel use, you do require a special permit and some variances, right? So
That's-
it's not like you can just go and build this by right. You wouldn't be here if you could, right? I just want to
That's-
make that clear.
That's correct, Counselor.
Okay, all right. So the biggest concern that I have is, I guess, the floor area ratio here. It is going to be a huge building. And that's one of the concerns, going from a 1.0 to a 3.5, meaning it's 3.5 times the size of what is suggested to be built there by our zoning code. Ordinarily, because it is in that HB district, I don't think I would have a problem with it. The thing that concerns me is that because Squire Road is it's a unique animal in that it is a business district, but it does abut a residential neighborhood. So for me to feel 100% comfortable with this, I would have had to have seen more feedback coming from the residential neighborhood, because they're really going to be the people who are going to be directly affected if there is any negatives brought by this in terms of traffic or anything like that, okay? So I would have wanted to hear more from them and more input and feedback from them. And unfortunately, this meeting was called so quickly. We didn't have the 2 weeks, we just had the week. I didn't have enough time really to get a lot of feedback, and I wasn't involved in any of the meetings previously. So I do have a couple of questions. You said that your client will be owning and managing this hotel, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, and does he own and manage other hotels at present?
He does.
And where, are they in the area, or are
Well,
they?
his first commitment to the city of Revere was the Sheraton Four Points, so he's invested close to $25 million in the city of Revere
Okay,
so far.
okay. And so they're not boutique hotels, like, are they similar to this, or
No,
is this going to be?
No, that's the Marriott flag.
Yeah.
And so he has, 2 shuttles there, 24/7, much larger. That's 3.5 acres, 180 rooms. And so he's well-versed in the hotel business. And so by partnering, we're going to have use of those shuttles, which we think is important, and some of the councilors thought it was important to make that commitment, keep them to that commitment.
Okay. And so the clientele for this hotel, so we're assuming this is going to be like business professionals coming in from Logan and things like that? I think I heard you state that before?
Yes.
Correct? Okay. And how long is the expected construction and the expected opening date?
Well, Bill Nicholson, who is our construction manager, has a couple of large projects going on in the city. Bill, what's your?
Yeah,
Bill,
Please come to the mic.
My name is Bill Nicholson. I'm the president and principal of Congress Construction. We're doing 646 Ocean Ave and 133 Salem Street right now in the city of Revere. This is approximately an 18-month project,
Okay.
construction-wise.
And do you have any idea when it would start? If everything goes according, you get all your permits and your variance, do you know when you'd be starting?
We should be, if we were to receive our permits, let's assume in April, then we should be able to start within 6 months.
Okay. Okay. So I guess, that's the only thing that I have concerns with, is the fact that when I looked at the abutter notification list, the 30 people that look like were giving notification, out of those 30, 5 were actually live in the residential neighborhood that abuts the project. So that to me is concerning. I don't think it's adequate enough. I know that the statutory requirements may be adhered to, but I just think we should do a little bit more. And I do want the revenue to come in. I understand that it's going to be a revenue-producing project. We do need revenue to come in, but I don't want revenue to be coming in at the expense of possibly, impacting quality of life or city services or things like that. My view on things is that the city is really rapidly growing. We're really rapidly growing in terms of density, and I'm just not so sure that our police and our fire and our ambulatory and our emergency services and our infrastructure and our water and sewer is growing at the same rate. So I just want to make sure we're keeping up with everything, and we're not, pro all of this building, but we're losing sight of other things that matter. And because, like I said, Squire Road is just a unique animal where it abuts a residential neighborhood, we just have to be mindful of those residents, and they should be at the forefront of any decisions that we make regarding this, definitely considering the size of the project, where, you don't have any front setback, you don't have any rear setback. Again, the floor area ratio is 3.5 times what's suggested by the zoning. So those are some of my concerns I just wanted to get out there. Okay.
Thank you, Councilor Kelly. I still think we have plenty of time. If you wanted to arrange for the constituents, I and we would be happy to meet with them.
Well, we have a week, right?
Well, no, I mean, just,
Are we voting
Before
on,
the
is this
vote.
going to be going to the full council next week?
but
or
if we
for a
have 6
vote?
months to, hopefully we'll get the approval, but we're happy to meet with those constituents and just educate and inform them and maybe address whatever concerns they have. The ward councilor was adamant about public safety was the first thing that he was concerned with, traffic flow, but he mentioned it several times about the safety, getting cars off Squire Road, so we followed his lead on that, but I think we have plenty of time to meet with those folks.
Okay. I would have rather have met with them before full vote gets taken. That was my position on it, but I
Okay.
understand you, to get their feedback afterwards, but I would have liked to have had that ample opportunity to get to get more notification out before a
Okay.
vote was taken.
I think we
That's
got
just
it. Thanks.
Wow, Tony,
and-
you're always.
Thank you.
I understand that, Chairperson, but this is the subcommittee where we are allowed to discuss, so that's all I'm trying to do.
Thank you for your input. Councilor Guarino Sawaya.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I love the project, and I think it'll be an asset for the city of Revere. That's it.
Thank you, Councilor.
Anyone else? Oh, you're not allowed? Is he allowed to speak? Yeah. You can't vote. You can speak. Go right ahead.
Mr. President, thank you, Mr.
The president, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is now the second hotel that's being built, or potentially going to be built, hopefully, after the vote tonight and next week. But these are the type of properties that I'd like to see come online on Squire Road. This is Ward 6, but if you go behind the building, it's Ward 3. So, we have the Papagino site, and I just think it's a win-win as far as tax revenue and strain to city services as well. I think that this is a no-brainer. I do agree, and this isn't just for this project, that in the future that we see a larger radius of residential notification. Again, this is for any project coming on board. But other than that, I'm looking forward to seeing this go up. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Mr. President. So I guess I'll opine a bit. My fellow at-large councilor talked about density. This is the kind of density I want, okay? Anytime I can get a hotel, I'm willing to live with a much higher FAR, and I'm willing to live with a lot of less things, because I understand, after being up here 25 years, what a hotel means to the city revenue. It doesn't take services, very little services from a hotel. It produces room tax, in this case, maybe a meals tax, all the benefits with none of the pain. There's no school kids coming out of this building. This is what I want to see. If you can find 3 more of these in the area, I'll be happy to support them. But I think it's a great-looking building. Yeah, is it large? Yeah. But I know that area very well. I had my construction company in that very building for many years, and this will probably produce less traffic than anything else that goes there. And so these are the things that, the benefits of a hotel. You don't have to have parking because nobody has a car coming from the airport. You know, maybe a couple people rent a car, whatever, but very few. I think this is a win-win for everybody. I know the neighbors that I've talked to that area. Now, across the street, there are some residences. And our council president happens to live on one of the streets there. And if he's not jumping up and down that it's a problem, I'm not concerned about it. So I'm thrilled with this project. I want to see it move forward as quickly as possible. And of course, we want to keep all the commitments that were made here. And we're not going to bend on them. And I'm going to be the first one. If that shuttle for some reason is not there, you're going to hear from me. But other than that, I'm thrilled about this project. I'm going to support it wholeheartedly. And we got some residents that want to speak.
Thank you.
Mr. Paziali, name and address for the record, please.
Anthony Paziali, 51 Arcadia Street. I support the project. When I think of special permits, I think about what does the city get. Obviously, all the boxes are checked, but there is one concern from me and from a number of residents that I've spoke to, and I don't know if this is something that this committee handles or if maybe the owner would maybe commit to not doing it, but we're concerned about it turning into another home for migrants. Massachusetts being a right to shelter state, who says in 18 months, they're just, boom, they take the state's money and all the, I don't know how to phrase it, I just don't want it to turn into a migrant shelter.
We get your point. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. And so I'll ask the principal here. How do you answer Mr. Paziali?
Well, thank you, Anthony, for that input. It's might be a slippery slope legally. Sam Vitale's here. I don't know if we can put the stipulation, but he told me that he'd be willing to confirm that in writing. Whether or not it is legal is above my pay scale.
Mr. Chairman.
We mentioned that, we talked about it. He's spending serious money, and the idea is to support Logan Airport and 7 to 12 minutes. We're hoping to get the business traveler 2 or 3 days. That is not on the radar.
I think that's enough. I don't think you need to make any statements that you might be sorry for later, but we understand this point, and I happen to agree with it wholeheartedly. And but we'll look into the legality of that, and maybe by next week when we're ready to vote on this, we'll have a little more clarity. Okay, so if there's no other comments from my committee members, I think we'll call for a roll, Madam Clerk. Please read the conditions into the record.
Conditions for the special permit submitted by Frank Strangier as follows. 1, a transportation demand management plan shall be approved by the Site Plan Review Committee, including the use of shuttles for all airport-related transportation. 2, there shall be no driveway openings on Squire Road. All vehicular traffic shall access and egress along Leechmere Road into a designated drop-off and pickup area adjacent to the lobby entrance to be located within the site. The developer shall upgrade the existing water line along Squire Road in accordance with the specifications provided by the city engineer and DPW superintendent. A sewer connection and water connection permit must be obtained from the DPW for all new construction. The city engineer and DPW superintendent must review and approve the proposed sewer and water service plan as well as stormwater management plan. The plans must be reviewed and approved by the fire department. Hydrant flow tests shall be conducted to determine the adequacy of both domestic and fire flow and for the proper sizing of domestic and fire flow service lines to the proposed project. Plans for the location of additional hydrants shall be approved by the Revere Fire Department. The project proponent must pay a sewer mitigation fee, which is based on 10 times 110 gallons per bedroom times $1.30 per gallon. Based on the proposed 104 bedrooms, the sewer mitigation fee shall be $148,720. The sewer mitigation fee shall be utilized to remove inflow and infiltration from entering the sewer system. and shall be paid to the City of Revere in 2 installments, 50% prior to the issuance of a building permit and 50% prior to the issuance of an occupancy permit. Concrete sidewalks with granite curbing shall be installed along the full frontage of the property, including landscaped planters along the Squire Road frontage and street trees along Leechmere Road frontage. All existing drains and sewer lines within the site shall be abandoned and shall be capped at the main and removed. The building design and materials plan, as well as the landscaping and streetscape plan, shall be approved by the Site Plan Review Committee. These plans shall be filed as part of the building permit application. The site lighting scheme shall be subject to the approval of the Site Plan Review Committee, and all lights within the parking areas that may impact abutting residential properties shall provide screens, deflectors, and/or soft or directional lighting to minimize light being reflected on abutting residential properties. A traffic impact analysis shall be prepared for the proposed development, and the developer shall be responsible for undertaking all pedestrian and traffic safety measures recommended in the traffic study. A surveillance camera shall be installed on the building, subject to the approval of the police chief. In accordance with Chapter 1747, this should read, the Community Improvement Trust Fund is applicable to this project. Under the Community Improvement Trust Fund, the developer must contribute 3% of the cost of construction above and beyond what is allowed as of right towards the fund, which must be spent exclusively towards capital improvement projects within the impacted area. For the purpose of the special permit, 3% of the construction cost shall be based on the increased density of the project as a result of the FAR and parking relief, which dictates the number of allowed hotel rooms. Shall the zoning subcommittee report the special permit out favorably, subject to the conditions by Frank Stringy, to the full city council on March 11th? Counselor Guarino Sawaya?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Kelly?
Present.
Voting present. Counselor Novoselsky?
Yes.
Yes. Counselor Silvestri?
Yes.
Yes, and Chairman Zambudo?
Yes.
Yes, the special permit will be forwarded to the full city council with a favorable recommendation.
Thank you very much for your presentation. No further business.
Thank you, members. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.